In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this design by popular demand using a silver-plated nickel fork. And believe it or not, this is pretty simple to do. So let's get started. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be using a silver-plated nickel fork and one of the bending tubes, which are currently on offer on tmcrafter.com. So head over there and get that while that's on offer, because that ends today. To begin with, you're going to be working on these two middle tines. So get your bender, place it over the tine as shown, and then simply bring it around and start creating a curve, just like so, taking your time. You don't need this much pressure to do this, it's just slow and steady, just like this. And then take the other one, and then what you want to do is you want to try and follow that first one, the curvature. So just bring it around like this, and then with these two we're going to be going across this way, like so, and then with this one just come across until you get it pretty even. I would say about there. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's pretty good. You're going to get your bending tool and you're just going to create a curve like this, because this is going to be a love heart. So you want to imagine the shape of that love heart, and that's what you're trying to create. So if you get your bending tool, start bringing around the top curve for the love heart. Like so. It's good to get this side of the love heart bent round and finished with your pliers, because once we start this side it's going to be far more awkward to get in there and do that. So, and then with the base of the pliers you want to start your curve, because this is the thickest part, and start creating the shape of that love heart. Just like this. And then when you start tucking this tail in, you want to go about halfway up your pliers, and as you do your movements you want to bring your pliers outwards, so you're working your way up to the tip. So if we start in the middle of our pliers, slowly start working that tail in, and then with each movement, as you'll see, I'm getting further down the pliers until you get to the very end, and there's your curve. So now what you want to do is you want to replicate this on the other side. So get your bending tool and get the basic shape put in, just like this. And then with your round nose pliers, again with the base, start getting your shape. Like so. And now we're going to work on these bits. So what you want to do is get your smaller tube and then just start creating the shape of a half circle if you can get it, because sometimes it can be quite tough. And then when you're about there, using the base of your round nose pliers, start bringing that curl into a circle. And then just like before, go halfway up your round nose pliers, tuck that tail in, and again with each movement you want to be bringing your pliers outwards, so you're working your way to the very tip of the pliers until you get to the end of the pliers, pull in that tail, and there's your curl. Same curl, so you want to get your thinner tube, start putting in your half circle, getting the basic shape, bring it around, and then with your round nose pliers, and I know I've said this a couple of times now, but I'm going to say it again, start with the bottom to get the basic shape, just like this. And then once you've got that, start working your way to the end of the pliers, bringing that tail in with each movement until you get to the very tips. And just finish that tail off. Do is just pull this one down a little bit. So get your round nose pliers and just pull that curve ever so slowly downwards. Doing the same with this one. And I find it's well worth taking your time to find good placement for your pliers, because if you try and do this and it slips, the time it takes to take out that gouge that you've just made is just not worth thinking about. So take your time with the placement of where you put your pliers and make sure they're secure before you start putting any pressure on, because all these slips will really cost you time later on. So now you've got it bent into its shape, you'll have something like this. It will be completely out of alignment, but we can fix that with a small rubber mallet and a solid base. I'm using an anvil and a piece of leather over the top, but again, any solid base with a piece of protection over will be just fine. So to start with, we're going to straighten up this love heart, I think. So if you lay it down flat and just slowly bring those tines downwards, turn it around, and the two arms here, just give them some light tabs, and you should have something like this. So now you're in much better alignment, and as you see, this one can do with a little bit more work. So just get your round nose pliers, go right to the base, and just pull it over to where you want it. Just like that. I mean, you can see this fork's got a lot of wear, but I'm more just doing it for the design to show you how to do it. So there we are, that's the design we're going with. So I'm going to just go over it with some 3000 grit sandpaper. And you see like the little lines here and a few marks around the curves. Just go over those, blend them in as best you can. I mean, you've got to understand that you're using cutlery which can be, you know, 100 years plus. So there are going to be marks. How I would add the spiral to your fork. I don't anneal the fork. It hasn't had any heat whatsoever. It's just as it came. I have a little piece of leather. I have a pair of pliers. I wedge the bottom in between two pieces of wood, the same place that I would use when I do the bend of the tines. I get a good grip, just like this, and then I would just slowly bring it around. And I've found that the maximum you can do this is one full twist. I'm sure you can get a lot more if you heated it up, but like this, you'll get one full twist. And any more than that, you'll start getting breakages. But I find you don't get any breakages as long as you do the one full twist, which I'm just about to complete. So that's one full twist. I'll show you what it looks like. I mean, again, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So what we're going to do is start off at one end, start bringing that around, creating a curve, and then move up to the other side and start doing the same thing. And don't panic if these move out of place, because the likelihood is they will, but we can always adjust that at the end. So I'll show you how to do that regardless if they move or not. But start getting your curve in the same as you did on the opposite side, keeping your piece straight, so it's not sort of at an angle, up, down, whatever. Because if you start bending at an angle, this will come at an angle. So keep it straight and your cuff will come out straight. And once you've got the basic shape with your ring bender, you can just come across with this, the wooden mandrel. And if there's any bits that you're not particularly happy with, just line it up, tap it out, until you're happy with the shape. And then once you've got the shape that you want, just finish it with some 3000 grit sandpaper and go over the whole thing, making sure to get any of the marks that the ring bender or the little rubber mallet may have left. Do the inside as well, because that's going to be against the skin, so you want to make sure there's no sharp edges. And then move up to 5000 grit sandpaper, and then go up to 10,000 to finish. And then once you've finished with the 10,000 grit sandpaper, you should have something that looks like this, pretty shiny already. But what I like to do then is just go over with a Dremel or any other alternative, just a handheld polisher, go across. You can use a cutting compound if you like, polishing compound. Make sure you get the inside, make sure that's nice and smooth, because this is the important part, quite truthfully. It doesn't matter how pretty your bracelet is, if it's uncomfortable to wear, then it's no good. So make sure the inside is very smooth, so when it's on, it's comfortable to wear. Once you've finished with the polishing, I would just take it inside and wash all of this off with some warm soapy water and a small bristle brush. I would then apply some Silvo tarnish guard and polish that in, and that will give it a really nice finish, and it also protects it from tarnishing for a good 8 weeks, I would say, before it needs to have any new application of another material. So yeah, let me show you what it looks like once I've done that. And that's your finished result. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, and if so, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, follow and share. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.